She wanted dinner with friends. I wanted the truth. It was her idea, of course. A small celebration at our favorite restaurant, the one where we used to laugh until the lights dimmed for closing. She said she had news. Her eyes shimmered too brightly when she said it, like she was practicing happiness. I knew that look. I'd seen it once before, in our wedding photos, when she said yes to me, but her eyes were already somewhere else. That night, I let her plan everything. The guest list, the menu, even the wine I wouldn't drink. I smiled, played along, because I already knew what her news was, and I'd been waiting for this moment. 6 months earlier, she stopped touching me. No reason, no argument, just cold distance in the bed that used to be ours. I tried everything: patience, humor, even silence. She always had an excuse: work stress, tiredness. Not tonight. Then one morning she started wearing perfume again. Lipstick, too. The same shade she once said made her feel bold. I noticed the change before she did. The secret texts, the locked bathroom, the long drives after work. I told myself not to look, but betrayal has a scent, and once you breathe it in, it never leaves. I started seeing the signs: late night showers, sudden diet, the way she flinched when I touched her stomach. That's when I knew something was wrong. So I checked her phone, not messages. She was smarter than that. But she forgot one thing: the car's Bluetooth. It saved call histories. Same number every few days. Mark office. Except Mark didn't work in her office. Mark worked in mine. I didn't confront her. Not then. I learned that silence cuts deeper than anger. I began gathering everything, slowly, carefully: copies of her cloud backups, call screenshots, purchase receipts. And when she started talking about wanting a baby, I realized what she was really saying. She wasn't trying to reconnect. She was trying to hide something. Because by then, I'd already found the pregnancy test she hid in her gym bag. Positive. And I hadn't touched her in months. I met Mark the next day. We had coffee like old friends. He didn't know that I knew. I asked about work, about life. He avoided eye contact, stirred his cup too long, the guilty always do. When he left, I followed him to a small apartment on the east side, the same one she started renting for workspace or yoga. That was the moment I stopped being a husband. I became an architect of consequence. I called my lawyer, quietly separated our finances, shifted assets into a private account. I made sure the house, my parents' house, was legally mine. And I visited the clinic myself under the guise of an insurance check. I asked about their paternity verification policy. They said, "We can match the DNA once there's a sample." I smiled. Perfect. Over the next few weeks, I played the part. Supportive, oblivious. I brought her flowers, kissed her forehead, listened as she spoke about trying for a baby. She thought she was fooling me. She didn't realize she was rehearsing for her own downfall. Then came tonight. She sat across from me, glowing in that way only deceivers glow, when they believe they've already won. Our friends gathered around, laughing, drinking, unaware that this dinner was a stage, and I was about to raise the curtain. She clinked her glass. "I have an announcement," she said. Everyone leaned in. I leaned back. "I'm pregnant." The table erupted. Cheers, laughter, toasts. Her eyes searched mine, expecting the act. The shocked husband, the joyful tears. Instead, I smiled calmly. "Congratulations, honey," I said, my voice steady, almost tender. Then I reached into my jacket pocket and placed an envelope on the table. The room fell quiet. "This," I said, "is from the clinic you visited 3 weeks ago, the one across town." Her face went pale. "What are you talking about?" she asked. I tapped the paper gently. "The paternity test. You didn't know they keep copies of the client signatures?" Mark's hand froze around his glass. I could feel panic spreading through the air like static. I slid another envelope forward. Photos, call logs, receipts, her lipstick on his coffee mug, the ultrasound booked under her maiden name. Silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. I spoke softly. "You said you wanted to start a family. I just didn't realize you meant with my coworker." Someone gasped. Mark stood up, muttered something, and left. She tried to speak, but her voice cracked, the color draining completely from her face. I signed the divorce papers yesterday, I continued, calm as ever. Everything you thought we owned together isn't. Your things are packed by the door. Her hand reached across the table, shaking. Please, we can... I cut her off. No, we can't. You made sure of that. I stood, pulled a few bills from my wallet, set them beside her untouched dessert. Dinner's on me. Consider it a farewell gift. Then I walked out. I didn't look back when I heard her crying. Not because I didn't care, but because I'd already cared too much for too long. That night I drove home with the windows down, letting the cold air clear the last of her from my lungs. The house was quiet, peaceful. For the first time in months, I could breathe without wondering what lie I'd wake up to next. Revenge doesn't always need shouting or chaos. Sometimes it's just truth, timed perfectly, delivered calmly, like a scalpel instead of a hammer. And when you finally cut out the rot, you realize how light peace can feel. I didn't destroy her. I just showed her reflection in brighter light. She was the one who shattered. They say revenge is cold. I disagree. That night it was warm, like freedom, finally exhaling.